In the other video I put together with AI, I just put a link in the description to the video between the CEO of ChatGPT and Theo Vaughn. And I put a comment in there that I think is interesting, but I'm trying not to get discouraged, to be honest with you, because there are people who who are creating and architecting things to propel the worst parts of society. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to pretend to do the best thing we possibly can. Okay? And I'm going to try not to be performative in this because all I want to do is scream at you slam poetry and describe to you that this is all you're doing. And in 50 to 75 years, you're going to look back and say, wow, we had a choice. Now, I'm going to be optimistic because it's important to be optimistic. And because there's nothing but possibility here, there's nothing but potential here. But it's ultimately your choice. It's my choice, it's your choice. And so, in the other video, End Work AI, I describe an end to forced cognitive labor. And there's a question about what becomes your purpose and what do you do with your time. And there will be a video. I actually plan on having a few my philosophy videos that describe how I think and why I think these things, which I'm saving for the end because those are going to be the X-rated thinking, unapproved thinking videos. But in this respect, we have to work together to feed people. So we're going to look at this AI domain, this topic, but also this domain name, CommunityGardens.ai. The idea is that using artificial intelligence to maximize for maximal love, maximal good. And there's a theory, there's an idea that I have, which is that as a human, as a biological creature, I know we've got the hierarchy of needs, which was updated after his passing, which is interesting. You should look into that. I think we basically biologically we eat and we sleep safely, and the safely aspect is appended to sleep on purpose. But half of what we do is eat. If you don't eat, you'll die. Now, over the thousands of years of our biology, as we created cultures, as we created societies, we put feeding people, or we created culture around food. We've got food cultures. We've got food traditions. There's the way that your grandmother cooks. There's the food tradition. There's the food norms, food taboos in your society, in your culture. But in the end of the day, what's amazing is that we all sort of share the same idea, which is food is love. And so for example, you may consider another society. There's a tribe that the worth of the man is how much food he can bring to, and how many people can he feed with the food that he brings to the tribe. Now, he's not saying the word LOVE, but there is probably some emotion sitting in his stomach that says love and shares the idea of love. So when we talk about community gardens, AI, and feeding people, what I'm trying to say is, what if we, instead of having intelligences that were dressed like anime characters that used subversive language to influence you, what if instead we used AI to automate the toil of producing food? So we're going to talk about that today, and we're not going to get overwhelmed. We're going to stay optimistic. I believe in us. So the first thing I want to say is, what ideas do you have? Because I don't have a food background. I'm not a agriculturalist. I purchased a permaculture course online that I put in an hour into. But what ideas do you have? Because this is me hopefully trying to communicate to gardeners, master gardeners, farmers, ranchers, co-op owners, permaculturalists, like everybody. If you have had the luxury, if you've had the benefit and the raising to understand the nuances of being in the food creation space, help. Give ideas. Contribute to this. And maybe I can inspire you to do something else with AI. So I'm just going to present, I'm going to start the fire, and hopefully you guys can flame it with me. Now, the next thing is I want to talk about systems design thinking and what AI can do for us. So in the sphere of AI thinking and AI systems, and even with ChatGPTs, I mean, you imagine right now, say you're a college kid, maybe you're a mom, you just got off of work, you're a dad, sitting in between breaks right now, you're a programmer, you're using AI and you're using large language models to help you optimize some need you have, and it's mainly word based. You have a essay to write, so you'll use it to help you write the essay. You'll brain dump in a dictation or a transcription, and you'll say, "Give me the notes," or you'll say, "Give me a fun meme or a fun Giphy." What you're doing, you could have done all of those things yourself. If you wanted to write a really good essay, you could have said, instead of ChatGPT or Claude, fix this essay. You could have taken the time to do that. You could have studied, you could have taken the time. If you wanted to produce a GIF or a meme, you could have purchased Photoshop and edited an image as much as you wanted. Okay, so we're in a reality where all the things that you wanted to do or could have done, if you wanted to create a movie, you could have gone to film school and produced a movie. What AI does is it truncates time, and it gives you the ability to give you your time back, basically, but it takes away a lot of steps in between. You go from idea to the thing is done. And the question is, how well did you prompt engineer the models? But it's not to say none of those things, we're not in fantasy land, we're not in imaginary land. These things can be done. It just would have taken you more time to do them. And so, if think about why did you not write the essay? Why did you have a large language model write it for you? Why did you not go to film school to produce that 12-second GIF? Why did you not download Photoshop to produce the graphic? Because you probably would have failed. Because just the amount of time you would have put into it, it's hard. You had to download the Photoshop. You got to get a license key. You don't want to spend $19. You're out. All right, you're going to work on the essay. Okay, you're going to sit in front of your computer. You're going to get your Starbucks. You're going to write down your bullet points. You're going to get distracted. You're done. You're going to sign up for film school. You're done. Like, there's a lot of steps in between. And like I said before, there's a lot of value extraction from complexity. Those are whole economies in between. That's a education economy. Film school, that's software to download. Like, there's a lot of steps in between what you want and your ability to get it. So I like the idea of starting with failure. And we automate it away. So large language models automated away the failure points in producing and making sure your essay was done. And maybe you got to clean it up. It automated the failure points. It automated away the failure points of creating a video. It automated away the failure points of creating an image. And at the rapid way of cycling, you don't like an image, boom, get another one, get another one, get another one. You don't like the essay it wrote, create another one. Get 5 large language models at once to create another one. You want to program something, create another one. You want to write a deck, create another one. Like, you're cycling through And then I'll save this for another philosophical, how I think, but there's something to be said about your perfection seeking will always say that none of them are good enough. And I'll save that for later. But so in any system, start with what will fail. And now, because we can automate away a lot of things, we don't need to optimize and accelerate the worst parts of us that are systemically failures. We can automate away the failure points in achieving pretty much anything we'd like to. We just have to identify the failure points. So with respect to community gardening and food production and food distribution, the goal is find your biggest problems. Like, what are our biggest problems? And let's find those. And let's get a giant light bulb and giant flashlight and just shine it on all of the problems in every aspect of growing to eating. So I'll give you sort of a helpful way to think about this is, in reality, in anything right now, there's two common points of failure. There's the system and there's the people. You can have a perfectly good rule book and no one will follow it, or you've got a really complicated rule book and no one will follow it. You've got people that are ready to go and you've got no system to organize them or coordinate them. Okay? The thing that's interesting about both of these is that both of these are preventable. Now, let me just lob your way an idea or a thought, okay? So a system is created. And by that I mean you create companies, you create laws, we create the rules and the rule books. Like we humans, we societies, governments, people, we create these systems. We all agree to these systems. The system is designed. They're created, okay? Now, I don't even know what ism we're going to be in 100 years. I hope we have no isms. I hope there's no isms at all in 100 years. I hope we've optimized. If the failure point is the isms. So the good news is we'll probably automate away all of our failure points. The one I hope is an ism. If we have isms in 100 years, it's because we didn't take the opportunity to find the failure point. Let's have the world's largest 5 whys session with a bunch of business analyst nerds, myself included. We'll say to ourselves, oh, this ism didn't work because the people. Or this system didn't work because... And we don't say that. We don't question why Agile doesn't work. We get certifications in it. We don't question... We have debates between methodologies, and they become philosophical debates. They become identity debates. Watch the last video about identities. So we can create system, and the beauty is that AI becomes its own system. It could be its own system, but we've got systems, we've got people. A system is created. The trick is that people are also created. We're also influenced. How do I know this? Because you are different, but you are homogenous in that your differences are sort of they're around people that are very similar to you. Like you live in a city, you're indoctrinated into that city. You live in a state, you're indoctrinated into that state. You live in a country, you're indoctrinated into that country. The way you think is Western or Southern or country or city. The way you think is based off your music and what you read, right? You are created too. You're influenced by your schooling and your education. You're influenced by your parents. You're influenced by a lot of things. Now, systems are created. People are created. The people in a system were influenced by this. So I'm sure there's some really cool situation here, but don't tell me this isn't the case. Now, I'm not suggesting that we use AI to change people, but the nature of this is we currently either possess utility or agency in a maximal utility standpoint, you're all just cogs and wheels. You're all consumeristic, luxury seeking creatures vying for positionality and status, or you cooperate. Now, are you telling me that cooperative systems don't exist? Because if you look in societies that do possess cooperative systems, egalitarian systems, etc., that still possess status within them, it's different than how we represent status. Those exist. So if it exists and we're created and we live in system dynamics we can more or less influence and control, and it just goes down to what are you watching? What are you reading? So, I know this is idealistic. When I say, like, all of this stuff is idealistic, I went through the pessimistic arc. I think this is optimism. Now we've got istics. I went through pessimism, optimism. Now I'm trying to do practicalism. I'm just going to tell you how these things can be done. Now, but wait, there's more. Okay, so I want to take a very small interlude and I want to talk about, I want to ground you. And so if AI can technically do these things, we can control systems and you could help. We can influence systems and behavior. It's called marketing. We do this every 4 years. We could, I want to ground us in some biological facts. We eat and we sleep safely. Like I said before, this is, I think, the totality of what we do. It's a simpler way to look at the pyramid of needs. Man, I need to write better, whatever. Okay, so the evolution of tasks. So, like I said before, where artificial intelligence is used to automate away failure points, I'm going to fix this camera because I'm going to lean over a bit. We automate away points of failure within systems. We want to look for the, my buddy Chad always said, you could tell a lot about a person by the size of their problems and the type of problems they have. I mean, we got some big problems now, guys. I'm trying to solve some big problems. I want you to help me out, okay? But imagine it's 6,000 years ago, and you're a small tribe of, say, 100 people living in a field, whatever. All of a sudden, you get some horses and some plows, and the number of people needed to feed the all of the people is reduced. So a plow, you go from 20, having in one of the books I picked up of a tribe, it was kind of sad. It looked at food production time by gender, by age, and everyone had their hand in creating or producing food, both men and women. Age determined the difficulty of task. You had a spry young man probably felling trees versus a senior mother probably doing the easier job. But I think it was 20 hours a month or something like that was all the time they put into producing food. And then they chilled the rest of the time. So we get a plow, we get a horse, a plow, we get shovels, and all of a sudden my ability to produce food for 2 people just went up to 20 people. Then we get machines, and this is how we got ourselves in trouble the last time we had a revolution in technology. We get, machines that can plow fields. We get looms that can produce textiles. People lose jobs. This has happened before. And the ability for one person to manage the production of food is just like hundreds of hundreds of acres for one person on a tractor to produce food for you. Okay? So machines make it easier to produce food. What's so cool about AI vision systems and ultimately embodied AI systems is that we're almost at a point where, you've got a person in a shipping container flying a drone right now. You could have a person in a shipping container managing 1 million acres of food and letting AI systems manage the rest. Or you can work at your office all day. So, but let's talk about like maybe. Okay, I'm sorry about saying that. Was pretty pejorative. I'm trying to practice being provocative without being mean. So it's hard because this is all ridiculous. So right now, we don't suffer from a lack of food in the West. We don't suffer from a lack of food. We suffer from too much food and too much food choice. And too much food choice because we're marketed to. And the idealistic person is like, wait, and I don't know. I went to a gas station the other day. I call them convenience traps. I went to a convenience trap the other day, and I saw a Marlboro advertisement, and seeing the way that the man was positioned with the cowboy hat, that's like pure symbolism, pure deep $1 billion symbolism there. It's the same in food. There's color theory, there's the placement of the buildings, there's smells, there's textures are manufactured to elicit an emotional response. You get kids' toys, so the kids become brand advocates early in life. So the idealism in this is we could use AI to feed every person on the planet and have overwhelming abundance. And you can have healthy food choices within proximity, but we got to get past the fact that you're addicted to food. And I was too. I was very addicted to food. You look at food like it's nothing. Food is a food is a pastime. Food isn't something that you spent like ask a hunter. You didn't spend all day getting that food. I mean, the meal. You didn't grow the banana pepper or the jalapeno. It's nothing to you. You just throw it away. You didn't take time to appreciate what it took to create it, so it's worthless to you. It's convenience now. How conveniently can you eat? It's so convenient we're trying to feed ourselves bugs because that's convenient. So this interlude's over. I think the whole, you know, the science behind food needs to be reevaluated. I think. Okay, so I did some quick GPT math. We got 31 billion acres of land on the planet Earth. That's just land. Okay, this is not including vertical farming. It's not including the ocean. This is just. I just wanted to know how much land do we have? Not in the polar regions, dry land. 31 billion acres of land on the planet Earth. Okay, so we've got some raw assets here. I want you to go outside. I want you to look. Your front yard, on the side of the highway, while you're driving to work. If you see anything green, that's land. Concrete, no. There's land everywhere. We pay people to mow our yards. We pay people to mow the side of highways. There is land everywhere. But as most things, you are blind to creation. You just ignore it. There's so much of it, you ignore it. You shut out the things that you just become blind to. Imagine someone who comes from, and this is what's so great about traveling. You go to another city or country and the trees look different. You notice it. The trees look different. You notice the things that are missing. You're blind to what's in front of you. So let's see, what did I write here? Oh, So this is the sort of the irony of where people are going with embodied systems, and this is just what's so overwhelming. Okay, there's a technological fantasy that we have bots walking around society. We want it to, we people, and I feel like in our psyche, we probably want to impress ourselves, but why would we want to create humanoid robots that need to walk around, need to be oiled, need to be managed, when we could spend time just feeding ourselves? We have enough mouths to feed. We don't need to oil bots. So I say feed mouths, not oil bots, right? We are taking care of starving people is more important than having luxury bots that walk around. So if we're going to do embodied AI, it needs to be for micro vision systems. And we'll talk about what micro vision systems are in a little bit. So this is the hard part. I mean, I think if we can solve for food production and food distribution, that would be great. Now, here are some things, some areas that I maybe we'll cover, and we'll talk about some hard parts we can solve for right now. So I think the hard parts are land, you know, knowledge, time. Again, like whatever the points of failure. Oh, we're not going to. Oh man, I'm not going to go pick food. I don't know how to grow food. I don't know where to go. Like all these are automatable problems. These are all things that are solvable with data. These are all, I mean, this is all solvable. I don't say we don't even need policy for these things. We, here's an application. One of the applications, I've got meal delivery systems, customs and culture eating out, some MyFoodPal thing. But, what if there was a mobile app that said, go to this land over here and do an hour's worth of labor, or um, you know, open up. It's like Minecraft. Like why don't you log into Weed Killer, the Roblox game, and what it is, it's a vision system companion training model that has cameras and laser based weeding systems that you can have an 8-year-old play the weed killing. I mean, it's just like what's that movie? There's a man. I'm so bad about that movie. I'm gonna find this. Ender's Game. It's like Ender's Game. Instead of fighting the bugs, they could be fighting weeds. I mean, I guess they could be fighting bugs with laser beams in a virtual system. I don't know. The question is, how clever can we be? Not do we give up because it's all impossible? I propose at least. Okay. So the hard part is going to be food. Like the hardest part is food. And that's, and why do I say this? And the reason I've done this video after the end work AI video is because when we've all ultimately transitioned out of a cognitive labor economy where we don't need to all work so much anymore, we're going to be in a place where we're going to have available time. And, this is 40, 80 years from now. Remember, we should be building for the future, not just for ourselves. The hard part is going to be transitioning us presently to a new system that says, you don't have a job anymore. Maybe would you like to go spend 2 or 3 hours this week at a local community garden or at in your front yard, following an AI system's recommendations based off of sensors in the ground and data across your entire region, across your entire city. I mean, here are some like things to think about. We've got food right here. We've got consumers over here, and we've got food right here, and we've got consumers over here. We ship the food across the planet, across cities. This is an environmental call to action. This is potentially the end of monoculture, the end of, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres of one crop. This is potentially the beginning of people exiting their offices and spending a couple hours a week tending a garden, spending time with their family and their friends. Now, I know you're saying, I don't want to do that. But are you going to keep other people from doing that? We'll see. Remember, we're talking about what's possible. And if you're in the food space right now, then maybe you just need to know this, that AI can do these things. I mean, I want you to be a rebel and start your own local community garden and build your own AI to do it. We'll talk about what my idea is. So, and because I actually need your help, because we can do this, okay? Remember, this is Community Gardens AI. This isn't a lecture or a philosophy piece. Let's work together, guys. And when we built Mount Rushmore, we put people in space. We built machines of war. Let's feed the planet. Let's build AI systems that feed everybody. Okay, so here are some things that I think we could do in a step, just like the end work AI. Here are what I think are some pretty easy things we could do. And hopefully the only thing remains is will. So, land. Food grows on land. There's grass everywhere, okay? We'll have a property rights discussion later. I think it'll blow your mind. It's a new way to look at property rights. But there's land everywhere, okay? So imagine that we compiled all of the arable land in the world. We used all of our Starlinks and our camera systems. We took the time, less than $2 trillion. We took the time to examine all of the arable land in hundreds of years, because I'm sure this data already exists. All right, so we need to understand the quality of arable land around us. Down to in my front yard. In my front yard right now, it should be clicking 2 buttons to figure out how much food I could grow in the front yard I have, how long it would take, and what food would grow best here, and what food did I grow last year, and what food was grown in my neighbors last year that worked. Okay. We need knowledge. Okay, so master gardeners, permaculturalists, gardening societies, ag extensions, open source public data, which it's not hard. I mean, ask a senior citizen. But we need knowledge. We need knowledge repositories of everything we ever needed to know about growing food, down to farmer's almanac level things. Okay? And we need people lots of people, and I feel like people just need to see. I mean, I like what is the farmer, I forget, his name is Joe, what's his name? He's the lunatic farmer guy. I mean, the way he communicates is so crystal clear. But the thing is that you can do this. Now, here's the best part is we're going to take, these things have always been available, right? So we've always had land. We've got GIS systems. We've got knowledge. We've got people. So what is it now that makes this sort of the right time, that this could happen now, is you're about to have a lot more people. So number one, we've got more people. 2, a lot of people are about to have a lot of time on their hands. Okay. 3, people are going to run out of money and food. Now, this whole idea, this is sort of like the big call to action I have, which is, and I don't know about you, but there are some like philosophical things related to this. I was gonna hold. I'm not gonna go full tilt us. I'm gonna say UBI is not the answer we need, but because you're all trauma victims to a mechanistic system, what? you will want to take the money. And it's actually, if you look back at past co-ops in the past, money, like the PWA, money systems have always ended the progress of food systems in the past. So the beauty behind this is that you guys can take your UBI, but if everyone's getting paid the same amount of money, then the cost of all the goods are the same. So the idea is, rather than everyone get food, and instead of everyone getting money, why don't we all just get what we need? I mean, if we only do this, you and I and maybe 20,000 of us can just get together. I mean, the amount of people that go to a basketball game can come together and architect AI systems that automate away all of the points of failure in the food supply chain. So the only thing that left is hey, where is the land? What is the knowledge that AI needs to know? What are the embedded vision systems that can be put in there? Well, what are the clever ways for, okay, what is problems? Nutrition or soil quality, pest, um, the distribution of food, the calories per person. Like, these are all solvable problems. These are points of failure that we can automate away. So the first part is the UBI is going to be the option. We don't need UBI. We need food. We need so much healthy food that someone freely goes to a market and just grabs food. And if there's a point of failure, the answer is, oh, we suck. Give us money. The point is, let's examine what the failure is, and then let's automate that away. I mean, if we can create, lust systems, if we've got, the ill systems that exist that are going to be optimized with AI, it really is just the will. That's the only thing remaining, is just the will. Because if people are going to have time, they're going to be hungry. Okay, it's just the way it is. Um, there's an upside to this. I want to talk about the application. So, not only is this an alternative solution. I had a clever idea. We call this universal basic goodness, right? We need just people to do good stuff all day, not exchange money to go buy things that are all going to cost the same. And a lot of this stuff's being said out loud, so you just need to know. Okay, so I used to pay for one of those meal delivery services. They're really expensive, like the $300 a week meal delivery services. And then I just changed my food habits. I went from buying food that tasted okay to spending, you know, 15 bucks a day to go to the local grocery store, buy healthy food, healthy meat, beans, potatoes, rice, seasoning, and cooking for my family. And so I changed my food eating patterns. And this was from a dear friend of mine. He helped me because I didn't know. I didn't have food education. I didn't know how to eat. I knew to go to the grocery store. I knew to, I saw a Facebook ad on a food delivery service. I was marketed to. I was never told that I could really cook good, healthy food myself. So we could have, and this is the idea, is like, here's a free one. Local community co-ops get together with their knowledge and people. We've got local hub centers. I call them green zones, right? But I'm not going to take, I'll get to that in a second. Remind me to say the green zones, okay? And so we could still do food delivery services because not everyone's going to have the ability to go pick okra. I mean, we could say, all right, well, maybe you do other things in this society. And there's other answers, there's other videos. So you watch the whole thing. Don't just tap out on this only video and think this crazy guy's trying to build utopia over here, because I'm not at all. We could still have meal delivery services. We can have a culture where we still eat out. We can meal deliver to places to eat together. And we could look at just the irony. And this is why we're the problem. You're the problem. You are the solution too, if you try. We have MyFitnessPal and calorie counting apps that we use to keep us from eating because we overeat. Again, because we live in a system that has traumatized us. Look at animal colony collapse studies. We could have a MyFoodPal that says, all right, well, this is the calories my family needs per week, and this is the local food store. And we can have one-to-one systems that orchestrate the distribution of food using AI. And if the failure point, and this is the beauty behind this, if the failure point is people, let's build systems that go around our failures. If we're going to have a bunch of people that won't help, then let's build AIs that mean that we don't. I mean, we are punished because we live in a society that our time is captured. Our time is used because our time is necessary to extract value from. But if I tell you the goal is to actually work as little as possible, if we could all build an AI system that takes the least amount of effort for you and I, like that's awesome. If we can eat for very little effort, that's perfect. We're not adding up effort for credits to eat. If we just create an overabundance of healthy food, that is the option that's available, then we're going to end world hunger, guys. I mean, this is not even trying hard, okay? Help. I'll get to the green zone comment right now. Is that I'm on your backs. I'm riding your waves right now. If you've been fighting for healthy food for 20 years, if you've been fighting for starving kids for 50 years, if you were on the front lines of food co-ops and land co-ops, if you've owned a ranch, if you've been a permaculturalist, if you've been a gardener, who's this guy coming in here with AI idealism? Guys, I'm just here to tell you that if you've been in the food ecosystem, this is your time. We can build AI systems to identify all of your problems. If we had every consultant from every Bain and Co. or Booz Allen Hamilton or McKinsey or PwC, if we had every smart consultant that was tasked with the idea of how do we optimize the supply chain and throughput of free and abundant food using AI systems and vision systems and respect your life's work, you're needed now. We need you more than ever because there's a lot of people that are about to not have jobs. And the bait is going to be take UBI. Go buy your bad food. Go feed your family with food that's killing them. Go overindulge because the packaging says so. So I want to rally you guys. I want to get behind you and say, here's some AI stuff. Let's get enough people together. Minimal number of people. We don't need everybody. We just need a minimal number of people for this to be successful. We're trying to think, how do we work as little as possible? How do we do as little as possible? How do you complete your life's work? If you've been a food warrior, if you've been in the feeding the hungry space, if you've been a culinary artist, if you've been a food producer, this is your time. Okay? So, drop food, not bombs. Wars, conflicts come from scarcity. Right now, there are war-torn parts of the world where a mom and a dad are not able to feed their child. And I will go eat today. What war would exist if there was a conflict that was about to come? Now, I'm not idealistic. I know we fight over the dumbest things. But if in the run up to a war, what if we dropped food first? What if they already had the food? What if there's so much abundant food in Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, Middle East, Asia. There is so much abundant food automated for us by AI systems that let's fight over dumb stuff. Okay? Let's all do jujitsu. Okay. So I'm gonna leave you, I'm gonna say, help me please. I'm gonna say you have a choice. Okay. Say you have all of these server farms in the US sucking up all of our water. Okay. All these AI systems that can do so much. Okay. If you're a technologist now, if you're a programmer, an engineer, a consultant, today, this week, you can help optimize email sending. You can make sending emails much more efficient, or you can make food systems much more efficient.